Good morning. Sorry, I gotta start my day with the fat face. Man, I woke up feeling crappy. Last night was a disaster. It wasn't terrible, but after all that running around with all those mistakes that the company put on me, I finally got to the shipper, got loaded hours later. So I had no more drive time on my clock. And the security guard assured me, oh, you can stay the night there. Don't worry. I heard her talk to the people in the back, whoever the manager was. They said, cool, let her go back there. We'll unload her and she could sleep. At 3 in the morning or 2:30 in the morning, something like that, banging on the door like the police. It was a yard jockey. But he must have had a monitoring spirit attached to him, because his whole energy was like he was an ICE agent. You can't stay here. And you wake up, you still kind of frazzled. So he can see I'm trying to gather my thoughts. And I said, no, they said, they allowed me to stay here tonight. No. You got to go. There's a place across the street, which was a lie because it was way past, it was like miles, about 2 miles. I said, listen, I can't drive this truck. Not even a half a mile. It's going to go straight into drive, and I'm going to be in violation of my hours. You guys are putting me in a bad position, because I asked the security guard last night, if you cannot let me stay the night, I will come back in the morning. She assured me. And he's like, well, I think he realized like I sounded intelligent. So sometimes when you sound very authoritative, they kind of like back up a little bit. So he was like, I don't care. It's not a big deal to me. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. And I was like, okay, but I'm telling you what they told me. So he said, well, you got to go. He's like basically, I don't care what you got to say. You got to go. So I drove the truck. As long as it doesn't go past 5 miles, it doesn't kick in to drive. So I drove it up to the front, and it was all the way around the building. I had to go back to the front and tell the security it was a different shift. She was really nice lady. She said, yes, we do remember your truck number, because obviously the person that I spoke to last night left it in the memo for security that I was on the property for the night. So she looked in her book, and she said, yeah, I see your truck. Okay, I see that you're supposed to be here. So I'm like, thank God somebody with some sense. So she was like, just don't worry, go back there. She said, who told you that? I said, the yard jockey guy. She made that face like, so she was like, I'll let him know. So he's following me all through the yard. He followed me back to the front to make sure I left, which I didn't have to. So he probably got pissed that I was okay. They made some other truck driver leave. He didn't really fuss about it, because I seen him at a slow crawl going down the block, blocking traffic, trying to get wherever he got to go. So my company said I couldn't get PC because safety wasn't in. So PC is going to cover you when these emergencies happen. But if safety's not there, they can't put PC in. And PC can't be put in after you drive. You have to put it in before you drive. So I was in a conundrum. So I go back to the spot, and I had to slow crawl the truck back to the spot. The dude slow crawling behind me. I'm like, why do these monitoring spirits like this? He was like a male Karen, just watching me. So I parked in the spot. He parks, and it's like hardly anybody there because it's still kind of dark. So he parks across the yard, and just like, you could just tell somebody wants to catacorn and park in a way that they could see you. I'm like, what are you getting out of just watching my truck? Guess what? My hours replenish at 8:10 a.m. I wake up at 8. I was so tired. I woke up at 8. By about 8:15 or something, like 5 minutes after my clock had replenished. And I come to the front to, I guess check some stuff. And I look up. His mother effing truck is right there. Not right next to me, but like over in the area. I guess he was still trying to see what time I was going to get up so he could tell me to leave. So I was like, I'm not about to rush at this point, because y'all let me stay this long. I might as well just get dressed and do what I need to do. So I'm washing up and stuff. because I got like a practical bathtub. It's like a huge, what do you call it, like a bin, but I got it from Walmart. So I can literally fit in that thing. It's big, but I put it up on the top. Anyways, so I see him just keep going back and forth. He's not picking up trailers. I'm just like, does he have a real job? Does he think he's a manager? Anyways, that went on for about, I finally left at 8:45 and I just got out of there. I didn't even make my breakfast. I now making my coffee. That's why I'm eating on the thing. So it just messed up my sleep, everything, because I didn't go right back to sleep after all of that. Oh, and then when I pulled out from the loading dock, the way they packed the trailer, it needed straps. They didn't have no pallet jack on there. They must have did some like last minute trying to figure out. So it's just loose boxes all lined up in that truck with no safety, nothing. So I think if I hit a bump real hard, them boxes can go flying to the front. So I put some straps, and it was so cold late last night. So by the time they unloaded me at 1 a.m., I had to jump back in the back of the truck. My load locks was all jacked up. It was a hot mess, my load straps. So that made me really tired. So he had to have came about 3 a.m. I think he came about, okay, now that I'm thinking about it, it was actually 4 a.m. that he knocked on my door. I didn't close my eyes until about 2:30 a.m. And then an hour and a half later or 2 hours later is when he came banging on the truck door. So I got 2 hours of sleep from that. Then when I had to come back, I finally fell asleep at like 5 a.m. and had 3 hours. So altogether I had about 5 hours of interrupted sleep. So I'm tired. Next week is, I got to renew my license. So I'm going to take 5 days off, 4 or 5 days off, and just really try to like woosah, catch up on some old homework and do what I got to do. Anyway, sorry for the small chat, but I like to catch my day ones and my followers on what I got going on. You know what I'm saying? Because when y'all see me disappearing for days, it usually be because I'm overworked or my mind is stressed, or like that. It'd be too much going on. I can't wait to finish school by next year, early next year. Hopefully I have more free time. Hopefully I don't get no job that's going to be extreme. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm going to do trucking for another year while I finish, even though I'm finished school, more so because of the money. Because, it takes time to look for it. And the way this economy is going, jobs might not be as plentiful. That's what leads me to this video about the way things are going with this whole situation with the economy. But I'm going to talk about it a little bit on a spiritual level. I'm going to try to make this video about 10 minutes because I already went into my 30-minute break and time is up. The state that I'm going to be dropping is a busy state, so I know the traffic's going to be crazy. I don't want to tell people where I'm going because there's some evil people on here that be watching me just for that purpose, just to be all up in my business. So this pandemic, I will call this a pandemic crisis or whatever, it's getting people to see. Now y'all could see how people think. You could see the evil in them. You could see the lack of humanitarianism in them. It's like you see a lot. You're starting to see how people have no mercy on the situation. You see the prejudice, the biased way of their thoughts. You're just seeing a lot from this situation. So, you got people making videos. Of course, you're gonna have the degeneracy. The degeneracy is like, it's gonna be. You can't help that. There's always going to be people that just are ignorant in all walks of life. It's just going to always be some level of ignorance. So you got some ignorant people on there talking about what they're going to do if they don't get their money. You got people that's saying they're owed that free money from the government because they pay, they feel like the taxpayers should pay that to them, like they're owed that, and that people should pay for their children, like they're sitting there making babies and they feel like people should be paying for that. That's the level of ignorance. But then you got other people who, sometimes you got the older people who's thinking that everybody should still live like they back in the 70s. Like, you know, you should be making black eyed peas and you should be doing this. And it's like, are we living in the real world right now? Like, seriously, because the amount of jobs you need to support yourself in this economy, that dollar that we had in the 70s and 60s, it is not worth a shit now. That dollar you had in the 70s and 60s, you could buy about $20 worth of shit. Now you could buy about 75 cents worth of shit with a dollar, maybe a quarter. I look at these little packets of gum. Juicy Fruit is my favorite gum. It's always been my favorite gum. It used to be Spearmint, but Spearmint used to start, it was giving me holes in my teeth, because Spearmint, you could snack it, you could pop it easy, like, right? So I used to chew that all the time as a teenager, and it would constantly give me little holes in my teeth, and I always was at the dentist. I don't drink milk. I am lactose intolerant, so I have a low vitamin D deficiency, so I always have to, you know, supplement. So that's why my teeth, it's susceptible to get cavities quick, because my calcium is low, my bone density is low. My mom has it. She was borderline osteoporosis. My mom still has good bones, but you can tell from when she was in her 40s to now, she's like, you could tell her bone is like smaller, right? So anyways, that's just my sidetrack. But they're talking about, oh, you can make these little, like, you know, old school meals. Nothing's wrong with that. I'm just saying they're making it sound like these people were brought up like that. You know what I mean? So that's why I said the lack of like a reality check is this is a reality check for everybody. You know what I'm saying? For the people that don't want to get it together, for the people that are mentally ill, for the disabled people, for the older generation. But what I don't like is that they're it's like they're pointing at the victims that are going through this as if it's their fault. Like, you should have been cooking better than eating off food stamps. And it's like, ma'am, sir, you don't know what's going on in them people's house, okay? So to come on and start just bashing people, it's ridiculous. Because some of those numbers show about 25 to 30% of those people that receive any type of benefits are still producing, like paying taxes. It's just that it's a supplement. It's not like their entire income. And then people that are living off of it on their entire income, this one guy came on, I had to be a man because it didn't seem like something a woman would say on my comment. I made a video before that talking about people should have more compassion. He said women should close their legs. And this is the mindset that I'm talking about. Is like, if that's the comment you want to make, the women opening their legs are obviously being pumped by a man. So he would contribute to whatever situation that comes about from that dynamic. So a lot of ignorant men, they participate in the degeneracy, and then they want to pull out when it's time to be, when I say pull out, pause, is not in that manner. They withdraw from stepping up to the responsibility for their irresponsibility. They don't shift the dynamic. So they force that person that they impregnated to have to now find a way to make it. You know what I'm saying? So all of these behaviors, it shows, is highlighting the lack of responsibility that people don't want to take, or the lack of accountability for the mistakes that they make. You know what I'm saying? Also, it shows the lack of humanitarianism that people take when they want to judge other people, instead of looking at it like, that could be me too. Like, they're not looking at the big picture. Like, if it's that easy for a government to starve the people, that should be an indicator that anything can happen. It can happen to the working class too. If they decide they're going to stop truck drivers from driving trucks, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to say, oh, you should have been a better truck driver. Maybe you get more jobs. Like, it's just like the rabbit hole doesn't end when it comes to stupid judgment. Because right now is not the time to worry about who's eligible for Medicaid, or who was not supposed to be on Medicaid, or who was not supposed to be getting stamps, or who should get free food. It's just like, who died and left these people God? Who told them that they were God, that they should delegate if a black person should get it, or if a female should get it, or if the white people living in rural America shouldn't get it? Who gives a fuck? The point is, it shouldn't be that easy for the government to push a button and say, nobody's getting it this week. That's like, that should be the main problem that people should be having. Like, how is that easy for me to wake up in the morning and you just push a button and ruin my life? No, that's the part that's pissing me off, is that these people are pointing at the wrong shit. Yes, it is an eye-opener for the future, but think about it. The same people that they're talking about, whether they're saying they shouldn't have sex, which is preposterous, you go to those third world countries, it could be no food and people are still getting it in, okay? So the points that they make is just so stupid. They say they shouldn't have sex, they shouldn't be white, it's only females getting it, you shouldn't be old, you should have saved for retirement. It's just like, shut the up at this point. Just shut up. If you don't have nothing positive to say, just be quiet, because at the end of the day, it could be your ass. Look what they did to those truckers. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I think it was 2023 when they did a strike at the Washington, I think it was Washington D.C. And I heard from, when I was watching the follow up on that, they was shutting off their debit card to punish them. It's like, oh, you want to strike? Well, let me show you what we could do. We're gonna stop you from eating. That's what we're gonna do. So it's like, you don't have no rights. So they're making an example out of the people that don't have food. Like, they don't have the power to get income from other ways. That's what they're trying to show us. The people that have a little something, like, you see what we could do to these people? Y'all better watch your ass and stop talking shit. So now when these people, they're going to send the military to drop food packages. I shouldn't be eating and talking. I know. I'm about to choke. They're going to have the military dropping off food packages, probably handing them out. We are one phase away from them setting up the FEMA camps. They're going to feed you that poison food. I know they're doing it already, but this is going to be like stuff that you can't even use the bathroom after a while. Probably worse than poison. I'm telling you, the people that's living in the woods, the RVs, that they're trying to slowly pull them out of that lifestyle. Because they're going to stop saying, they're going to be like, oh, you thought you was going to live in RVs and still live off of the government? Or we're going to show you how we're going to do this. So now these people are going to have to figure out, well, if we can't get food, we can't get any type of health benefits because we're living off the land, that's going to force us to have to come back into society to try to get some type of handout. Because we're not, if you're still here in America, it's like really, it's going to be hard to completely live off the grid. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but it's just like, we got to be also realistic. Completely living off the grid is a whole lifestyle and a mindset. You have to be willing to make everything from your hands, blood, sweat, and tears. But anyways, so now I'm saying all these people that's letting the devil and the demonic influences push them in the direction of humanity. This is the problem that I was saying, is like, when people start panicking, it shows you their true mindset. It shows you what is really pushing that button of that human. What's really pushing their motivation, their willpower, is how they react in certain situations. This is what you call the test of times. This is God showing us how many, sorry, my nose. God is showing us the percentages of people that are really not light spiritual beings. They're really under demonic forces, and the only thing that was keeping them like somewhat nice, somewhat cordial, somewhat a decent person was that they was being fed and they was getting supply, food, shelter, water, sex, whatever was keeping them calm. But now that they are being pushed to figure things out, now you see the evil come out of these people. Even the people that are not starving, you see how they're looking down on them and wishing worse on them, hoping that the children starve to death and saying, yeah, that's your fault, ma'am. That's your fault, sir. Wickedness. There's a lot of wickedness on this land, especially here. So you got men now. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's pathetic how far down from grace we have become as human beings. When you see this stuff, it's to me, it's saddening. It's saddening. You got men out there. They're like boasting and bragging that I guess the women that didn't want them when the women were independent, they're like, oh, now she gonna need me for something. I can get some sex from her now. I can get some attention, some loving, because I'm the one that got a little money. I could buy her a little snack. Women, if y'all that desperate, please pray. Please pray. Because they'll say, oh, she rather starve than give me head. Excuse my language. She rather starve her baby than to give me a little ass. It's like the demonic influence under some of these people, they want you to humiliate yourself. Completely humiliate yourself. This is where these ritualistic demons are going to start to capitalize, and they're going to grow in force through this crisis. Even the Rona, even that crisis seemed a little bit more humanitarian, only I guess because it was like everybody got affected. It wasn't just like a class level. But now we're going into classism in this crisis, and it's showing you how disgusting people are. Not saying everybody, because I'm saying there's people out there that actually has compassion. Yes, you can highlight how the system has crippled people and crippled their mentality to only rely on the system, right? But that's neither here nor there. We still have to look at the big picture as to why is this happening? Why is this crisis even here, right? But they don't want to do that because now it's like we'll have to come together to combat that crisis, to understand what the government's doing to us. But they don't want to do that because it requires work, it requires coming together, it requires interdependency. But see, they feel like because this person might have less money, they got less class. This is what I'm saying. It's like the prejudice is amongst our people too. We complain about the other races judging us, but we're the most degrading, harsh, judging type of people amongst ourselves. And it don't even matter what the crisis is, as far as the situation where if we can capitalize and make ourselves look better, this is not all blacks, this is a general statement. If we can capitalize, and I say we because I'm black, and make another black person look bad, as if because I got a job, I could talk crap about somebody that don't got a job, to me, it's low self-esteem. You're trying to make yourself look better just because another person is suffering. We don't know if that person had to get on benefits because their parents became disabled and they worked all their life, but they had to quit their career. Or sometimes it's mental illness. Some people get tired of living in this type of society and they just give up on themselves. They give up on life. And they're like, you know what? This is one step away from me dying. I'll just stay home and rot on this couch. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying we should promote that level of mentality, but you got to remember, we're living in a system that does not promote mental health. They would rather pay a mental health worker, me, pennies on the dollar, and a school teacher pennies on the dollar But then they'll pay a corporate CEO who sits on his ass in the beach drinking pina colada while the rest of the company is running itself. They'll pay him or her billions of dollars. And they're not making the economy great. It's the workers that make the economy great. The people that go to pick up trash every day. The firefighters, the police officers. I mean, we got some bad cops, but think about it. If a crisis hit, if I'm in the middle of a road and something happened to my truck, I'm calling the police. Because they're going to stop the highway and help me to get off this highway if I had a blowout or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the truck drivers, the nurses, the doctors. I mean, we're not... It's beyond essential workers. It's just like we have ignored the relevancy of what makes this country run. So now when this crisis hits, they want to talk about, oh, she buying crab legs. She ain't really about getting her life together. They don't even know what this woman's going through. She could have been getting beat by her husband for 20 years and she finally got free, and now she's trying to make a way for herself. And they talk a lot of shit about black women. Black women are always trying to educate themselves. Every time I go into an establishment, I'm seeing a black woman working. I'm not saying all of us are productive, but a lot of us are productive. So if she want to enjoy herself and buy something to eat that's not going to make her, hate life, why is it a big deal? These people are over here buying Birkin bags and hair, Men are over there buying new cars, getting their car washed and primed and trimmed, and he ain't even got no money in the bank, but he gonna spend his last $50 and get that car detailed. So what are we really talking about? We're sitting up here judging other people, and we be doing the dumb shit too. I'm not saying y'all, I'm talking about, this is a general statement, of course, but it's just ridiculous how these people just say, I'm just gonna talk shit about a gender, or I'm just gonna talk shit about a race of people. It's just like, I know black people be doing some dumb shit, but we all do dumb shit. All of us, all colors, all creeds. We've all done things. I'm not gonna say everybody in society, but we can all say no one's perfect. We all have to learn one way or the other through society. Societal norms have been really, messed up. People don't know what's moral anymore, what's immoral. You might have people selling food stamps because some states get food stamps. They might still get the food stamps because they saved in the budget for that, right? These emergency stuff. So they may have some states that will still give these people their Medicaid and food stamps just to protect their city. Like they don't want people, you know what I'm saying? But you'll have people who will get creative and be like, listen, I could give you some some food online. I can mail you some food or whatever. But I need you to do this and this and this for me. I need you to give me your social security number. Or, I might need you to do this. You know what I'm saying? I might need you to help me file my taxes next year. If you got a couple kids, give me their social security number. If you want to eat, if you want me to mail you this food, you better give me what I asked for. You're going to have a lot of finagling and scamming. So people want to talk about, the food stamps kept these people low vibration, kept these people not motivated. No, it's not the food stamps that's keeping the people not motivated. It's the people. If you don't have something to live for, if you don't wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I love life, you're going to do dumb shit. So even if they cut the food stamps, guess what? The same people they talking shit about is the same people that's going to find another way to get what they need by the hook or the crook. This is what they do. Because even when we didn't have food stamps back in our times, they had the food line. Remember? You had to get online just to get a little bit of cheese, a little bit of milk, and some canned beans. And you had to wait online from them. If you didn't get up at 7 in the morning, 5 in the morning, you wasn't getting home until about 6, 7 p.m. I forgot what they call those lines, the food kitchen line or something like that. Then you had to go to send your kids to the cafeteria early to get the first batch of school lunch, the school breakfast. My mother and father used to wake me up early. And I used to be hoping they had that warm donut in a container of milk. Even if that milk fucked my stomach up all day through class. I was starving. My mother and father had a lot of kids. So I know what it's like to not have. But my mother and father wasn't crooks. Well, my mom is, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. That she became like that in her later years. But as far as working, they both worked. They both had a skill. My mom went to college. My father was a welder. He couldn't get a lot of jobs because of his status, his status in this country. But that's neither here nor there. But if it was a people that didn't have money, us talking about the government made them that way, not really. It's a contribution. It's a contribution of all things that make people mentally ill or make people have degeneracy behavior or ignorant. One, the main thing is a lack of knowledge. But then you got some brilliant people that their scale of morality, it shifts according to what their needs are. So if I need $1 million, my morality is going to shift, and I'm going to make it where I could still get that $1 million and still feel like I'm a moral person. So a lot of times you have to look at those people. Okay, well, they may have a mental illness. So there's so many moving parts as to what makes people do the shit that they do in society. Another thing is culture differences. They did studies and research to realize, why do gangs and crime increase when a new batch of culture is introduced into that community? That increases crime. So when there's new cultures being introduced, the prior people that were there will feel threatened by the new culture being introduced. Whether it's a new gang members, whether it's a new way of doing things, a new way of making money. If that infiltrates that community and is ran by gangs or crime, the crime will increase. So you got to remember, your government is studying these type of dynamics and knowing how to train the people's minds to react to certain shit. So if they know, okay, well, if we do this, we infiltrate this community and we do this and we do this, these areas will increase in crime. It's all a game. They've been doing this to us for centuries, and no one really, not saying no one, people don't want to wake up and realize we are in the Hunger Games. I said that a couple months ago. I don't like this lipstick. I forgot what lipstick I had on. I said that a couple months ago. We finna go into the Hunger Games. And in the Hunger Games, the people that was pushing the buttons to make the people react was sitting up on a podium in a rich mansion and stuff like that, and watching us like we were in a simulation, and we were the video game people. We were the video games, and they was pressing the buttons to see which way we was gonna go. And people was not waking up and saying, let me glitch out and see if I could get this other simulated person to react, to say, hey, instead of us going against each other, let's figure this out. And you know the rest. Let's figure out who's the real enemy. Who's the real enemy here? You can't say certain shit. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, my food probably got cold. That's why I like to eat as soon as I get on. This chicken, rice, and eggs. But anyways, I gotta go. I'm just very disheartened by the way people are judging people. I'm not saying people shouldn't be judged in certain contexts. But in this type of situation, it feels like they want to point fingers at the pawns and not the people who's actually moving the chess pieces. You know what I mean? It's just much easier to do it that way. It's kind of like looking at a misbehaved child. You see the child doing a whole lot of stupid shit, right? Going to class, making noise, bullying, whatever the child not supposed to be doing. You see the child doing that. So then they hire someone to go and investigate what's going on with that child. They go to the child's home and they see that people are touching on the child, abusing the child, doing drugs in front of the child. And they're going to turn a blind eye to all of that and just still keep blaming the child. Why are you doing that? Why don't we get to the root of the problem so that we can change this whole situation back around? That's a shot. But it's just so much easier to keep beating the child and blaming the child. That adds to the problem. It adds to the dysfunction. Because in order to change a society or to change a situation, you have to go to the source of what the problem is. What caused the problem? Why is the problem here? What is it going to take to solve the problem? One is that people have to get knowledge as to what's really going on. Once you get the knowledge, Allah will allow us to show reasons to how we could change certain things. Now, we're far gone. We're so far knee deep in this bullshit that at this point, it's like people just want to think about every man to themselves. So it's going to be hard to pull people out of that mindset because of how much damage that has been done to society by these greedy demonic forces. Because that's what's really running the planet, is demons. We're in their territory, invading their space. So they're going to be like, oh, y'all came down here, thought y'all was going to have a tea party? Oh, hell no. We finna punish y'all too. Y'all came down here with us. And we finna show y'all how we live down here. This is a motherfucking jungle. We not sit up here and make it seem sweet. And, oh, you want to go back to heaven? Oh, let me show you how to go back to heaven. No, they're going to make it turmoil for us. And this is why we have to get strength. Strength is important to fight anything. And it requires inner strength first to get true outer strength. A lot of people have false inner strength and they put on a facade of outer strength. And then when they go through a battle, they can't hang. So this is why the people that have learned these things should help. We're not here by ourselves. We have to help the weak. And when I say weak, I don't mean, oh, I can't pick up no, it's mentally, spiritually, and internally weak. Because if we don't help them, when the real forces come against us, we're not going to have an army of people to help. Because the weak can become strong, but they don't know. They don't know how to do it yet. They think they need some external situation. They don't understand the strength comes, one, in numbers, and it comes in unity of spirituality, the collective consciousness. And I don't say, oh, everybody got to be Muslim and everybody got to be a Jew. No, it's not about that. I mean, if you're not under demonic forces, of course, but you can still come together collectively conscious. The men have to start respecting the women. That's first. Because if you're saying that the woman is the weaker vessel, we could go with that. And you're stomping on the weaker vessel, the strength will be stripped from the man and he will not be able to protect his nation. Because even though these powers that be think that they're strong, a lot of them are the weaker, the demonic forces are actually weaker, but they need to put us under an illusion to make us feel like they're stronger, if that makes sense. So one, you got to get to that level of learning how to empower yourself, mind, body, soul. The men have to get outside of their resentment to how life ended up, which is they may have some reasonings that make sense. If you're told all your life, oh, I'm going to, grow up and I'm going to have a subservient wife and I'm going to have a great career and everything's going to be great. No, it will. You just accept the fact that you were bamboozled and you were lied to. I don't care if you're white or black, Latin, Asian, whatever. We've all been lied to. We've all been bamboozled. But still look at it as nobly in the spirit realm, you can still hold it down. I don't care what other people telling you. I don't care about all that talk. It's all talk. Because at the end of the day, the masculine essence and the feminine essence is always going to reign supreme. And I'm not talking about gender orientation. I'm talking about in the spirit realm. The feminine and masculine principle will always reign supreme. But when it is out of whack, it will be chaos and war upon the planet. So when the man feels like, oh, I can go against the woman, you're going against spirit. Vice versa. If we don't come together in that type of dynamic too, as well, not just in crisis, but understanding that this is important. This is a generational after generational after generational coming together. Everything we do now set the precedence for 20 to 50 to 100 years from today. So if we're sitting up here laughing at other people in crisis, that generation is going to continue that same mindset. And this is why we have to be the leaders of this situation. And in order to lead, you cannot diminish your people. I'm not talking about color. I'm talking about you cannot diminish the people you feel don't know better. Like they don't got it together yet. So I'm just going to stomp on them and step on them and make fun of them. You're crazy. You're crazier than the people going through the crisis. If you don't understand your role as a strong person, as a strong spirit being, as a strong physical person, man and women, but men, we're talking to you. This is the time to step up and lead. If you say nobody believes in me, you know, this has always been our fault. We're always getting blamed. We're always the scapegoat. Okay, well, now is the time to show the leadership capabilities. Because now there's no title. Right now, there is chaos. So someone has to step up. But if we're stepping up and using that time to be seen to exploit other people, you're crazy. It's crazy. And this is what these people are doing. They're out here raising more havoc, more chaos. This is why I say it's demonic. The demons are loose on this land right now. They are having a field day all over the world. Look at what happened to what's going on in Israel. Look at what's going on in Jamaica. Look at what's going on here. Look at what's going on in Venezuela. Look at what's going on in Argentina. It's a madhouse. So right now, nobody has any type of role, title. Everybody just going crazy. But it's in the craziness is where you could see the true people, where you understand who the chosen ones are, what they do in these crises. This is war. This is a war inside of a war. So we're talking about, oh, where's the civil war? It's already here. It's in doses. It's in phases. That's how you know it's an experiment. They conduct these experiments in phases. So you could take this opportunity at any time throughout the war to assign yourself to become a soldier, to become a leader, to become the captain. You ain't got to wait for somebody to say, hey, I think you smart in this. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. You should already know what you're good at, what you're capable of. You could run your own community right now. You could go and start a food drive right on your block. I'm just saying, these are the times where we can show and prove what we're made of. This is getting ridiculous how everybody just sitting around. They ain't doing nothing to help nobody, but they want to pop a whole lot of crap. It's crazy. Utter madness. Anyways, I love you guys. This is not against anybody watching this video. I'm just making a statement of what I see. And I am very disheartened by the lack of compassion and humanity that these so-called people that got it, the have-nots and the haves. These haves, they burnt out. They're lame, they're burnt out. These older women on here talking about, oh, you young women, blah, 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 blah. Oh, shut the hell up, because you probably was worse than them when you were younger, ma'am. Just stop the cat. Oh, I was this and I was doing this and I was cooking and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, but somebody had to teach you, ma'am. Unfortunately, some of these young girls don't have that opportunity where somebody's sitting down and talking to them and pouring into them and showing them how it's done. So yeah, they're gonna F up. They probably got some crappy man that took them out of the home at 12 and 13 and she was over there doing what she had to do. I see things holistically. I don't judge people. I do judge people that turn around after they've made it and they look down on other people instead of understanding other people's walks of life. That kind of irritates me. We all need help out here, all of us, in one way, shape, form, or another. You might have all the money in the world and you hate yourself. Mentally, you all screwed up. So you may need a poor person that got some good sense to come and help you through that situation. And you might be able to help that person out of their financial bind. This is how it works. This is the lesson that Christ was trying to teach these people. Stop looking down on people. Stop acting like you ain't never been through nothing. Take the fake false mask off. Take off the fake personas and the archetypes and be your organic self and get out here, do the service, help one another, and make humanity great again. Not America, but humanity. That's the point. Love you guys. Gotta go.